So in order to use the conductive gloves, you'll want to plug in the lead wire. You will plug the glove wires into the respective prongs of the lead wire and give it a twist. It will be a snug fit. Underneath the gloves, you will need to be wearing latex, vinyl, or nitrile gloves to create a barrier so the microcurrent doesn't go into your hands. So the conductive gloves go on top of your other latex, vinyl, or nitrile gloves. Have a small bowl of water nearby so you can dip your hands in it to moisten the gloves. I will soak the gloves before the treatment so that they're already sufficiently moistened. Usually they will hold conductivity throughout the treatment once I've done that. If you're having problems with conductivity, you can mist the conductivity solution on your fingertips. This is a new product that we've come out with recently that has copper and zinc in it, as well as magnesium, which will all help to conduct that current a little bit more easily. Conductor gel is optional, and so you can skip that if you prefer to. But it is nice to have something water-based on the skin, like a hydrating serum or a mist. I'll come back to that when we're doing our demo. And I will go over the settings in detail as we're doing these movements. But for the mini, you'll need to press run and we'll begin on erase. And for the QT, we're going to be following the conductive glove session that is in the app under your sessions menu. After you've used the gloves, you wash them with a neutral detergent or a mild soap, and you can air dry afterwards. You don't want to wring out the gloves or twist them because there are silver fibers in the gloves that conduct electricity, and you can break those and you can damage the gloves. So these gloves are meant to function in all the same ways that our probes do, and you can utilize the same movements and techniques. The current is flowing through the entire glove, so you may find that you can turn the intensity a little higher than you normally would because it's spread out. People like the gloves because they enable you to feel the contours and the muscles of the face more precisely. As we said, there's no need for any conductive gel, but this is a good opportunity to wear a water-based serum or spritz the skin with Replenish Hydrating Spritzer to provide slip, but also to put some nutrients on the surface of the skin so that microcurrent can push them deeper into the skin. When you're doing your treatment, each hand is one of your probes. So you have to use both hands together. As long as you are replicating the movements correctly, you will get the same results with the gloves that you would with the classic probes. So this is a great alternative also for those of you who find that the classic probes don't really feel comfortable for you. So this is just a reminder of how we're going to be starting. So first, I'm going to put on my nitrile gloves. Let me unblur my background so that's a little clearer for you. The nitrile gloves, I like to put a little bit of moisturizer on my hands before the gloves go on. So take your favorite moisturizer and just throw a little bit on your hands so that this can really cook into the skin inside the gloves while you're doing your treatment. Okay, perfect. Gloves go over top. Now with the conductive gloves, I have pre-soaked mine, so my gloves are already wet. You will want to do that for yours right now. You can either dip them in a bowl of water or you can run them under the faucet for a second just to get them wet. But I'm going to put those over top of my nitrile gloves. Okay, perfect. And I like to make sure the glove is poking out underneath so I know it's not touching the skin here. We want all of that electricity to go into the face. And if it's touching the hand, it won't do that. So you'll see as well, I'm already connected to my lead wire. I today am going to be using the MyoLift QT. If you have a mini, that's fine. I'm going to tell you the settings that you need to use. and you can follow along, but this is the device that I'll have behind the scenes right now as I run my treatment. I'm going to take some of the Replenish Mist and I'm going to apply that to my skin. My skin is clean and dry already. If you want, you can apply a hydrating serum. For example, the anti-aging peptide serum from 70 Wellness would be a good option for you. If you're using the mini, then you'll want to start on Erase and level 1. And we're going to start in just a second. I'm going to open up my QT app for those of you who are using the QT. Just got that right here. Start my conductive glove session, turn on and sync my device. Okay, great. So in just a second, we're going to get started. Want to make sure I'm not going too quickly for anybody. So in the QT app, it will prompt you to cleanse the skin, connect your lead wires, put your gloves on, dip them in water. When you get to step 6 is the first movement. So this is where we're jumping. Yes, so this is where we are jumping in. So first, you take 2 fingers on each hand, and we're doing our horizontal forehead stretch. So we're just gently gliding across the skin. Pressure is light to medium, and your conductivity bar should be green. Now, each of these steps is timed out to 30 seconds in the app. So now we go vertically. We're starting in the center and separating. So it looks like this. You can also use less fingers if that's easier for you. Now, those of you who are using the mini, if this feels okay for you, you can turn it up a little bit higher on the forehead as long as you tolerate. Okay, great. So now it has you come to one side and start to stretch in the bridge of the nose. And then the other, you're just stretching this muscle right in here. For these tight areas, you'll see me just using one finger at times. So we've done the forehead. Now we're going to come to the eye. And we're stretching along the area where crow's feet form. So you're just starting together, moving apart. You can do that straight up and down like this. You can follow the shape of the orbital bone, that circular hollow that the eye muscle sits on. And then we'll do the other side. Now, because there's no gel on the skin, this can feel a little zippy. You can apply a gel if you find that it's uncomfortable for you, or any water-based product like we mentioned earlier. Especially if you're just doing one finger like I am right now, your point of contact is smaller. So you're getting a more concentrated application of the current. So now we'll work around the mouth. Now, all of these movements are still on Erase. If you're comfortable on level 1, you can try level 2 on your mini. But if you feel any discomfort, then of course you'll want to lower it again. So now we stretch underneath as well. These 2 movements are great for those vertical smoker's lines that we get around the lip. And for those of you following on the QT, now we're at step 13. So you want one planted right below the lip, and then the other one comes downwards. can also hold the hand this way if that's more comfortable for you. So it looks like this. All of these erase movements are smoothing out lines. Now we're switching to lift. So we start on the neck, on the side, and then we go towards it and we hold. The gloves are not touching. I'm grabbing some of that tissue and I'm very lightly pinching and holding it for about 3 to 5 seconds. If you think of the muscle that covers the entire neck, it's called the platysma, kind of looks like a turtleneck, and we're working on tightening up the whole thing. So now switch to the other side. And any of these areas of concern that you may have, you can do more movements in each of these areas. You can spend a little more time, and you can really customize the treatment for yourself. This is another area where, on the mini, you want to be on lift now. You want to be on level 1 lift. Level 1 educate. Sorry, I'm trying to translate between 2 devices at once. So we're about to finish up with our pinching along the neck. Do a little more here. All of these were horizontal movements. Okay, great. And we're going to do a little more on this side. This is step 15 that we're on now in the QT app. I like to do a couple points of contact on the neck. So we'll do one down here and then one up here. And you can do that same pinching movement both ways. And now we're going to move vertically. So you're bringing it upwards. Still sitting right below the jawline, but pinching that platysma to lift it. Now, I'm just using 2 fingers here, but you can use more if that's comfortable for you. Okay, let's move to the other side. Now, one thing to clarify, the rest of my hand is not touching my face. Only this point of contact is where I'm touching. Okay, beautiful. So now we're on the jawline, 2 fingers above, 2 fingers below, and then pinch and lift upwards. I'm doing this behind, well, doing this in front of the ear, but not directly in front. You can also kind of inch your way forward along the jawline here if you have a little more space. And then when we come in closer, that's the next step. So now we're at step 19. And we're still just lifting along that jawline. So this is the edge of the platysma where it connects. And now we're right under the chin. So this is now when we're entering the jowl area. This is a great spot to focus if you're concerned with jowls or if you're concerned with a double chin. Of course, microcurrent is not going to do anything to affect the fat in the skin, but it certainly can drain excess fluid and lymph buildup and it can tighten and tone the muscles in that area to give you a little more definition. So we're just moving to the other side and doing some more of this chin lifting. If you tolerate level 1 educate on your mini, then you can try level 2 here and see if it's still comfortable for you. And now we're just making our way across the jawline. So this is step 22 for the QT users. And now we're to the other side to mirror where we started. So at this point, we have done our smoothing movements on erase or stretch for the whole face. And then we've done our lifting or educating movements for the entire neck and the whole jawline. Just going to do a little more here. And now we're going to start to lift a little higher. So we're lifting right next to the corner of the mouth. This is great for marionette lines. You can go right up against them. I like to use one finger on each hand because it gives me a little more precision, but you don't have to do that if it feels too intense for you. And now we'll do the other side. This is an area where you may feel a little more sensitivity since we're around the mouth. You may find that you need to use a lower intensity. Okay, and now we come up a little higher and we're lifting that apple of the cheek. So still helpful for those marionette lines, but also starting to sculpt the midface. So I have it like this. Now, as we approach the eye, you also may want to lower your intensity. If you see any twitching around the eye or you have any prickling, then you definitely want to turn that down. So now we're back to the other side. Okay, beautiful. So now we start to lift the cheek more specifically. So you're literally grabbing the apple of the cheek now and lifting. I like to get it between two fingers like that. But you can also do it this way if that's more comfortable for you. And the other side. So for QT users, this is step 29. If you're using the mini, you should be on educate at this point. Okay. Now we're doing a little bit more for the lower cheek. Place this at the top of the cheekbone, start down here at the side of the chin, and then go up and diagonal towards it. So you're kind of scooping in here. You're grabbing that whole cheek and you're bringing it upwards. And we'll do that here as well. Now, because of the size of your hands or the size of your face, this may look a little bit different for you. As long as you are manipulating the right part of the face, then you will still get all the results. So now we're up at the temple and we're grabbing where the nasolabial fold starts and we're lifting diagonally towards it. So this is getting the zygomaticus muscle, which runs diagonal like this. This is a great way to get that natural facelift, really bring out those cheekbones. We do it on the other side. Beautiful. So now we'll work on the eye a little bit. So we're lifting the brow, one finger or two underneath, and then one or two above. Pinch and then lift slightly. You definitely, if you're using the mini, want to make sure that you're on Educate level 1. Level 2 is probably too high. It's going to give you some discomfort. And then you do the same thing for the outer part of the eye. So really grab and lift that tail of the brow. This is one of my favorite moves. I feel like you can immediately see what happens. The muscles around the eye are quite delicate, but they're also very responsive to this kind of treatment. Isn't that fun? So now we'll do the other side. Just pinching and lifting. And we'll do the outer part of the eyebrow as well. Now you'll notice it doesn't matter which hand is on top or on bottom or which side. As long as the two probes are touching in the right place, they're pretty much interchangeable. So that is not something to worry about. Beautiful. So now we will go and plump underneath the eye a little bit. Place one or two fingers below the tear duct, start at the outside, and then come inwards. But you don't want to be touching the nose. You're away from the nose here. Now, this is creating strength in this very delicate muscle under the eye, which over time will create some more volume and help to plump it. Short term, you're encouraging circulation and lymphatic drainage, which are also going to improve the appearance of the under eye. Now, when you're doing microcurrent, especially close to the eye, it is normal for you to see little flashes of light. That's totally okay. If you are visibly twitching, you see the eyelid moving involuntarily, you will need to turn the device down. Oh, and that brings us to the end of the QT treatment. So we have gone through a quick little routine with the gloves. You can focus on any of those specific movements if you have an area of concern where you want to spend extra time. For me, I would probably do a little more in here. So I would be doing more of these lifting movements. And I always just love to work on the brows, probably a little extra in here too. So after you finish a treatment, if you have applied any conductor gel, you'll want to rinse that off. If not, you can just finish with your favorite skincare, lots of hydration. You can apply pretty much any products in your routine after microcurrent. If you have any acid products or any retinol, do not apply it before. That would be the most important.